After 19 years of red carpets, whispered perfection, and Instagram fairy tales, Nicole Kidman just detonated Hollywood's favorite love story. Yep, the woman who preached grace and silence has finally decided to talk, and what she's hinting at might make Keith Urban wish rehab came with a rewind button. Was their picture-perfect marriage just a PR performance? Were those award show kisses real, or just another script written by Hollywood's best illusionists? Because sources are saying this isn't just a breakup, it's an expose. And when Nicole Kidman decides to speak, she doesn't whisper. She rewrites the narrative. So grab your tea, your tissues, and your trust issues, because the truth behind their 19-year perfect marriage is darker, louder, and far more human than anyone expected. Let's rewind the tape, because before Nicole Kidman became the face of Quiet Grace, she was half of Hollywood's most untouchable love story. 19 years, 2 daughters, 1,000 magazine covers, and exactly 0 public meltdowns until now. You see, when a couple looks too perfect for too long, Hollywood starts whispering. And this time, those whispers are screaming. Because according to insiders, Nicole didn't just walk away from Keith Urban. She walked away from the entire illusion of happily ever after. Now, let's be real, Keith and Nicole were the industry's poster couple for endurance. He was the wild country boy who beat addiction. She was the Oscar-winning goddess who gave him stability. Together they sold the narrative that love could heal anything. But behind closed doors, that fairy tale had cracks deeper than a Nashville whiskey barrel. According to one anonymous insider, their marriage looked like a movie premiere, flashy, rehearsed, and one take away from falling apart. It started small. Missed phone calls, weeks apart on different continents. Nicole filming expats in London while Keith toured 40 US cities. They told the press it was balance, but anyone with common sense could see it was drift. The kind of drift that no red carpet can disguise. People close to them noticed that their smiles had become scripts. The laughter? Rehearsed. The chemistry? Fading faster than Keith's guitar strings during a live show. And then came the incident, the one that made even the tabloids blink. During a 2025 live Zoom interview, when Keith was asked about Nicole's steamy scenes with Zac Efron in A Family Affair. He laughed, then froze, then disconnected. Just gone. Poof, like someone had pulled the Wi-Fi plug on their marriage. The clip went viral overnight, 10 million views in 24 hours. The caption read, "When your wife's movie hits too close to home." But this wasn't just about jealousy. Oh no, this was about something deeper: ego, pride, and the ghosts of a past they never fully buried. Because remember, Keith's story didn't start clean back in 2006. Just for months after their wedding, he checked himself into rehab for alcohol and cocaine addiction. Nicole stood by him like a saint, flying between movie sets and therapy centers, shielding him from paparazzi and pity. At the time, everyone praised her devotion, but according to a close friend, what people called love was actually survival. She wasn't his wife, she was his lifeline, and that's the problem with playing savior. Eventually, you drown to die. By 2010, Keith had his comeback, new albums, awards, the whole shiny redemption arc. But something in Nicole had shifted. Every public appearance became a performance of support. Every award speech where Keith thanked her for saving his life sounded less like love and more like obligation. Even Nicole admitted in one rare interview, "It's beautiful, but it's heavy." Translation, she was tired of being his therapist in heels. Fast forward a decade, the fame grew, but the foundation cracked. They were living in airports, not homes. Text replaced conversations. And when the pandemic hit, forcing them to actually be in the same house, they didn't find romance, they found distance. Keith told People magazine in 2021, "I realized how much she carries for us." He meant it as gratitude, but she heard exhaustion, the kind that seeps into silence. Then came 2024, the year that changed everything. Nicole's family affair started getting buzz for her unexpected chemistry with Zac Efron. The internet exploded with edits, fan cams, and conspiracy theories. And let's just say, some fans weren't shipping the characters, they were shipping Nicole and Zac. Keith Urban's name was suddenly trending next to phrases like trouble in paradise and the end of grace. According to one alleged studio insider, Keith started showing up unannounced on set, not in a jealous way, more like a man trying to remind the world he still existed in her orbit. But Nicole wasn't having it. She was reinventing herself again, this time not as a wife, not as a savior, but as her own person. Behind the scenes, though, the silence had turned unbearable. Insiders say Nicole stopped calling home as often. Keith stopped mentioning her on tour. At one concert, when a fan shouted, "Where's Nicole?" he just smiled faintly and said, "Probably somewhere peaceful." The crowd laughed. He did in single quotas. By late summer, tabloids reported they were living separate lives. Still no fights, no scandals, just quiet exits and polite statements. But that's what made it eerie. Hollywood's most graceful couple was disintegrating without noise. According to Vanity Fair, friends described their home as beautiful, sterile, and heavy with ghosts. Nicole Kidman has built an entire career on restraint, on knowing when to speak and when to disappear. But something about 2025 broke that pattern, because for the first time, the whispers are saying she's ready to talk. And when Nicole Kidman decides to talk, you better believe she's not here for soft confessions, she's here for truth. Now here's where things start to twist, because the divorce filing wasn't the beginning of the end. It was the result of a truth that's been quietly snowballing for years. Anonymous sources claim Nicole found something that made her realize this wasn't a marriage anymore. It was a memory wrapped in etiquette. But what exactly did she find? And why now, after 19 years of survival, did she finally decide to let go? That's where part 2 begins, because if you thought this was just about distance and exhaustion, wait till you hear what Nicole's truth really exposed. Now here's where the so-called Hollywood fantasy begins to crumble from the inside out. Because the moment Nicole's quiet patience ran out, the leaks started slowly, subtly, like whispers through the Beverly Hills grapevine. One assistant told a reporter she was tired of fixing a man who didn't want to be healed. Another insider swore Keith would disappear for weeks, claiming he was recording new music, but those close to Nicole knew it meant another rehab stint. Another lost weekend, another apology that came too late. Behind those Academy Award smiles, there were slammed doors, missed anniversaries, and long nights of silent dinners in a mansion that echoed with everything they didn't say. Nicole's friends allegedly begged her to walk away years ago. "You've already done the martyr role in Big Little Lies, don't live it in real life," one of them reportedly told her. But Nicole, being Nicole, wanted to fix everything, to prove Hollywood wrong one more time. Keith's image was part of the problem. To the world, he was the reformed country boy, the tattooed gentleman who found salvation in love. But insiders describe a darker story, one filled with jealousy, control, and quiet resentment. The deeper Nicole rose into her legendary film status, the more Keith allegedly shrank. He used to love her shine, said a studio source. Now, he blames her for dimming his. And here's the wild part: Nicole never wanted to air any of this. But when the tabloids started spinning their own stories about her coldness and ambition, she decided to pull her own narrative trigger. According to leaked emails between her publicist and a top journalist, Nicole's team carefully planted the idea of a respectful separation, steering away from any scandal, but insiders knew it was anything but, because behind closed doors, the Urban Kidman empire was bleeding money. Their luxury Nashville estate, complete with its private recording studio and meditation wing, was allegedly mortgaged to cover Keith's touring losses. Yet, Mr. Clean Country comeback had been quietly funding his album projects through Nicole's production profits. And when she found out, that was the quiet breaking point. One insider claims Nicole discovered a hidden financial account tied to Keith's music label, showing hundreds of thousands in creative expenses that had nothing to do with music. "Let's just say it wasn't studio time," the insider quipped. Another source says Nicole confronted him one final night in their Sydney home. "I built us an empire. Keith, you turned it into rehab funding." But here's where things get even messier, because that confrontation didn't stay private. Within weeks, a mysterious voice memo started circulating among industry insiders, allegedly a late-night recording of Nicole crying to a close friend, saying, "I'm done raising a man. I want peace, not pity." The memo went viral on the dark web gossip circuits before being scrubbed. But by then, the damage was done. Hollywood reacted instantly. Power couples who used to idolize them began to distance themselves. Even close family friends like Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness were said to have quietly taken sides. One anonymous director said, "Everyone's pretending to be neutral, but trust me, they're all waiting to see who leaks first." And of course, the fans weren't far behind. Social media went up in flames. #Nicole deserves peace trending within hours of the divorce filing, with one viral tweet reading, "She carried a man through his demons for 19 years. Now she deserves to carry only herself." But Keith's fanbase clapped back hard, claiming Nicole used his image to look wholesome after her Tom Cruise era. The timeline gets even murkier when you realize that. Allegedly, Nicole had already begun preparing her exit months before the world knew. A source close to her stylist said she started moving personal items out of the Nashville house as early as March. "She told me, 'I'm downsizing my piece,'" the stylist said. Even her interviews started to sound like coded messages. Remember that Vogue piece where she said, "I've learned to stop saving everyone but myself"? Yeah, fans are now connecting that directly to Keith and in her recent Variety roundtable. When asked what love meant to her, Nicole smiled and said, "Love is only safe when it's honest." The audience thought it was poetic. Now it sounds prophetic. But the biggest twist came when people started asking why Nicole chose now, after almost 2 decades, to break her silence. That's when reports surfaced that Keith had been shopping around a tell-all memoir, reportedly titled "The Man Behind the Music," and according to leaked publishing notes, it wasn't exactly flattering to Nicole. Apparently, he painted himself as the victim of her cold ambition and Hollywood distance. Well, that was the final straw. Sources say Nicole's legal team stepped in fast, sending a quiet cease and desist to the publisher and freezing the project indefinitely. But by that point, the gloves were off. What started as a private separation was now morphing into a full-blown public chess match, with emotions, money, and legacy all on the line. And the irony, Hollywood, who once called them the golden couple, is now treating them like a scandal buffet. Paparazzi are camping outside Keith's tour stops. Tabloids are dissecting every single quote Nicole gives. And insiders claim production companies are scrambling to secure the rights to the official story. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming, and it's the reason why. Everyone's whispering behind closed doors in LA. Nicole isn't just walking away with dignity. She's walking away with receipts, leaked text messages, private therapy notes, and financial records, all hinting at a story that could rewrite Keith Urban's reformed husband brand forever. And if those documents ever hit the public eye, trust me, this divorce won't just be about love lost, it'll be the fall of a Hollywood myth. The calm before the storm didn't last long, because once word got out that Nicole had those receipts, the industry started to panic. Executives who once toasted their love story at charity galas were now quietly calling PR firms to prepare statements. Everyone knew Nicole Kidman doesn't leak by accident. When she moves, it's precision. Every whisper, every silence, it's all part of a larger play. And this time, she was ready to burn the script she'd been forced to live in for 19 years. Reports started surfacing that Nicole's legal team had compiled a full timeline of Keith's rehab relapse, emotional manipulation, and financial cover-ups, and according to insiders, this wasn't just about divorce, it was about reputation warfare. Sources close to her camp say Nicole has been offered a documentary deal, a sit-down interview, and even a memoir proposal worth 7 figures. She's not chasing clout, one insider said. She's reclaiming her narrative. Meanwhile, Keith has been spiraling under the media pressure. Tabloids claim he's been canceling shows, avoiding interviews, and ducking questions about the split. His team's been spinning the story as mutual and respectful, but fans aren't buying it. Every photo of Keith alone looks more like a man haunted by headlines than a country superstar. There's even been speculation that he's back in treatment, though his reps deny it, calling it a fabrication meant to humiliate a good man. But here's the part that has Hollywood insiders shaking. Nicole's silence wasn't revenge. It was strategy. While the media waited for an angry tell-all, she quietly went about setting her own stage. Her friends say she's been journaling, working on a private project, and reconnecting with her daughters. She's calmer than ever, one close friend revealed. When she finally speaks, she wants it to be the truth, not the noise. And yet, the leaks keep coming. Anonymous insiders claim that one of Nicole's close staff members turned over a hard drive filled with documents, emails, therapy records, financial transfers, all allegedly linking Keith's creative retreats to questionable spending. Some of those documents mention offshore accounts tied to music royalties that Nicole supposedly never knew about. A source close to the situation told one outlet she thought he was recording an album. Turns out he was financing a secret lifestyle. Now, whether any of that is true or just tabloid smoke remains unclear. But what is clear is that this divorce has evolved into something far bigger than heartbreak. It's become an industry audit. Even publicists who've worked with the couple are being called in for questioning by attorneys. Hollywood divorces are never about love, one PR agent admitted. They're about control of the narrative, and right now, Nicole owns that narrative. And social media? Oh, they've turned it into a battlefield. On one side, hashtag Team Nicole is praising her strength, saying she carried a broken man for too long. On the other, hashtag Stand By Keith fans argue that she's exploiting his weaknesses for sympathy. One viral post read, "She's acting out her next Oscar role, the saint who left." But another fired back with, "No, she's finally playing herself." The tension reached its peak when an alleged draft statement from Keith's PR team leaked online, supposedly accusing Nicole of weaponizing mental health for media leverage. The internet exploded. Within hours, fans were dissecting every word, every comma, wondering if the draft was real or planted. Nicole's team didn't respond publicly, but her next move said everything. She posted one photo to Instagram, a sunset over Sydney, captioned simply, "Peace isn't given, it's earned." It racked up to million likes in a day. Meanwhile, Keith was spotted leaving a private clinic in Nashville, visibly thinner, no ring, no smile. Paparazzi shouted questions. He said nothing, but his silence spoke volumes. Industry sources say his label is worried about how the scandal might affect his tour deals and endorsement contracts. He's gone from golden boy to liability overnight, one executive whispered. But here's where things twist yet again, because Nicole's not just walking away quietly. Insiders claim she's been approached by a major streaming platform to produce a limited series loosely based on her experiences. Working title? The Long Goodbye, and guess who she reportedly wants to direct it? Her ex-Big Little Lies co-star Reese Witherspoon. It's poetic justice, a producer laughed. She's turning her heartbreak into high art and cashing the check. Still, those close to Nicole say it's not about revenge or fame. It's about liberation. She spent 19 years trying to protect someone who didn't protect her peace, a longtime assistant said. Now she's done protecting anyone but herself. The way the narrative's unfolding, you can feel that shift in power. Hollywood's Ice Queen has melted, and what's left is a woman reclaiming her humanity in front of the entire world. But don't think Keith is giving up quietly. Rumors are swirling that he's planning a tell-all album, something raw, emotional, allegedly inspired by his breakup. Insiders call it his last redemption move, the working title floating around the studio. Unwritten lies, whether it's a confession or damage control, no one knows yet, but if it drops, it'll reignite everything Nicole's trying to put to rest, and that's exactly the problem. Because in Hollywood, no story ever really ends, it just fades until the next scandal replaces it. Still, people close to both sides say this one feels different. There's no shouting, no public brawls, just two powerful people walking away from a castle built on silence. Maybe that's what makes it so haunting. So here we are 19 years later, watching the fall of a fairy tale that fooled even the cynics. Nicole Kidman, the woman once defined by her husbands, is finally rewriting her own script. And Keith Urban, the man who thought love could save him, is realizing that even the purest devotion can't cure chaos. Whether this story ends with forgiveness or more fallout remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, when Nicole finally sits down for that inevitable interview, Hollywood better hold its breath. Because the truth she's about to tell won't just expose a marriage, it'll expose an entire system that thrives on silence, image, and illusion, and when that happens, it won't just be a divorce story. It'll be a revolution disguised as closure. So, what do you think? Was Nicole Kidman the quiet survivor of a Hollywood illusion, or the mastermind who finally flipped the script on her own story? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just a breakup, it's the unmasking of a myth that fooled an entire industry. And trust me, the next chapter of this saga is only getting louder. If you love deep dives into the scandals, secrets, and untold truths of celebrity life, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here at Lumi Legacy, we don't just tell stories, we expose the legacies behind them.